This is lithium, and lately the demand for it has gone up. Lithium is a form of metal, and what makes it really special is that it could hold energy inside it and release whenever it wants to. And what does that mean? That means it's a good battery. The first time lithium batteries came in the market was when they were used in cell phones. The older phones were the first things to use lithium batteries. Batteries that are now used in vehicles, and they move the EVs. The lithium market in the world is really big right now because the future of electric cars are huge. The United Kingdom has announced that until 2030, every vehicle sold in this country has to be electric, and we can't make or import gas-powered vehicles. In the UK, there's about 31 million cars, and when you add it up, you realize that if you want to make every single vehicle in the UK electric, you'll need 236,000 tons of lithium, and that's if you only produce it once, and it's not counting the year by year. If you activate every single lithium mine in the world, they will have to work for 9 months straight to produce this much lithium. Right now, 92% of lithium comes from Argentina, China, Chile, and Australia. And Australia has the most amount of it. 53% of the lithium comes from Australia. But it's good to know the biggest lithium mine of Australia is operated by the Chinese. The lithium that comes from the mine goes into the factory, turns into lithium oxide, and it's sold to different battery companies. The biggest battery manufacturers of the world are LG, CATL, and Panasonic. Either way, our need for lithium is going up every day. Except the UK, there is 10 other countries that want to ban gas-powered vehicles by 2030. If these 11 countries only want to sell 11 vehicles, they'll need 9.5 million vehicles every year. And that is why experts believe to reach this goal is impossible, because there is no way by 2030 we can produce this many electric vehicles. You got to know lithium, the most important part of a lithium battery. But these new batteries need more than lithium. It needs two other important pieces of metal. One of them is nickel and the other one is cobalt. In the last 5 years, nickel, cobalt, and lithium are very desirable, and the price of these elements has gone up by 300%. It's good to know that the US produces the most electric cars right now, and they only have one small lithium mine in Nevada, and obviously it's not enough for all these cars, so they have to import it. China is the second biggest country that produces electric cars, and even though they bring lithium from Australia and China themselves, but it's still not enough and they have to import. So how is it possible for those 10-11 countries to only buy electric cars by 2030? The US has a lot of lithium in the state of Nevada, but one of the problems is the lack of water. Most of Nevada is very dry, and that's less than 20 centimeters of rain. And when you mine lithium, you need a lot of water. The environmentalists are very against the thought of mining lithium in the state of Nevada, and they believe if you start mining lithium, it might turn the northern part of Nevada into a desert, and it pretty much destroys the ecosystem because a lot of different animals live in that part of Nevada, and they will be heavily affected. Another problem is that that land belongs to the natives, and it's set in law that you're not allowed to touch the native land. It's good to know when the US was forming, all the good land was taken by the white people. But obviously the land belonged to the natives, and the government decided to give them the least desirable land in the US. And right now, there's a lithium mine in a part of it. Like we said, you need a lot of water to mine lithium, and it causes the land to dry up. Like in the lithium triangle between the three countries of Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia, mining lithium has really dried out this part of the world. So we figured this out. What happened to cobalt? Let's see where cobalt is found. The Congo. As you know, this country has been through a lot. One time it was natural rubber by Leopold II, and we've made a video on it. But now they're here because of cobalt. Congo is the 8th poorest country in the world. Even though most of the cobalt from the Congo is mined by Western companies, but there's a lot of illegal workers that use child labor to get this cobalt out of the ground. And these guys have no mercy for these slaves. They basically make these children work in the mine and take out the cobalt from the ground. Somewhere that there's cobalt is not a place to live, because breathing it in is dangerous, and the powder that it causes is extremely bad for your health. They say the people that work around cobalt, they have heart problems, issues with hormones, issues with their liver, and they could also have kidney failure. So these children that are used for slave labor do not survive for very long. We learned that electric cars are good for the environment and they do no harm. But producing these batteries has a lot of harm. Lithium has those issues, and cobalt has these issues. Nickel is not as bad as these two. This causes scientists to start thinking, and they realize they have to figure out something better than these lithium-ion batteries and use less of these natural resources. They're working on a form of battery called the solid-state battery. The style of this battery needs less lithium, and it also doesn't need cobalt or nickel. And the cool part is, it holds more charge and weighs a lot less. If it's successful, it could really change the world. It needs half the lithium of these batteries, but it can hold twice the charge. Like if you count the weight of a Tesla, 1,000 pounds of it is the battery. So if the solid-state battery would actually work, not only would you cut the weight by a lot, the performance of the car will be a lot greater. Everything is good, but this battery has not been made yet. They say we'll make it, but they don't know how much it will be. If it's too expensive, obviously it won't work. So we really don't have an answer yet. Right now, we have to make batteries with lithium, cobalt, and nickel. Experts believe that if everything moves forward and the solid-state battery is successful, it will at least take 10 years for it to be approved and ready to be used in an actual vehicle. We basically try to help it out, but we ended up messing everything up. And that means we tried to eliminate fossil fuels, but we made something that's worse than these. The sad part is that internal combustion engines pollute the air while they're working, but when you build the electric cars, that's when they pollute the world. And it's true that electric cars don't produce less pollution to the world, and that's the entire world. It might cause less pollution for a certain part of the world where they're driving, but they will affect the planet. Some people ask about the recycling of these batteries. Most car companies that create EVs have not answered this question, but Tesla has announced that they recycle 100% of the EV batteries. And if that actually happens, that's amazing. But other companies have not announced yet what they do with their used batteries. We realize what happened until now, but there is conspiracy theories as well. Some say not only do these not get recycled, but they add deadly chemicals to our waters because they don't properly recycle the liquid used in these batteries. But Tesla strongly says that they recycle 100%. But we have to say that Tesla is one of the first electric car companies, and they've been at it for more than 10 years. And they're recycling right now. But other huge car companies like Ford, Mercedes, or Volkswagen, it's only their first year they're making electric vehicles, and they haven't reached the recycle part yet, but they still haven't announced anything.